Hey, everybody. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world. And today's hot mess is these cuts to Section 8 and how it has everybody jumping out the window. And a lot of people are running scared. But is it really a bad thing for our community? I don't know. But first, before we get into this, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Please help the algorithm, help a sister get her message more out to the world, please. I'm here to help us elevate our frequencies together. And I definitely feel that, getting off of Section 8 would definitely be a good start. I really do believe that I believe Democratic Party is just a party of welfare, social services, government jobs, and stuff. And I just feel that it just keeps us dependent. And I really do feel that we should figure out a way to come out of this government. And then that would elevate our frequency in a very big way. A lot of people disagree. I mean, I, for one, am a person that knows many people that have these vouchers. And I mean, I just really feel like, it really does keep you stuck, and it keeps people in a position where they don't want to work because they don't want to lose their benefits. And we're going to talk about this to see, if it's going to work. Is it good for us? Is it bad for us? Different opinions of what people have to say about it. And the first person's opinion I'm going to share with you guys, like I always say, I always like to come on here and share a different perspective in life outside of like the Democratic mainstream media that we are always listening to, because you're only getting one side of an issue. And a lot of times I just think it's the wrong side that doesn't benefit us, and it's not elevating us at all to be on this side. So this is a person, Black man, called his channel is called Black Conservative Perspective. I like his channel because it is a conservative perspective and it's just a different perspective. And like I said, I always do listen to men most of the time when I watch things on YouTube or I just I just feel like their perspective is just different than listening to women. I just feel like, I don't know, I'm not going to say they have a better perspective, but I just feel like it's just a perfect perspective that oftentimes I'm not familiar with. And I feel like most of you are not familiar with either. And all of the people that I share with you have huge followings, probably more people watching them than the mainstream media. And I do, like the message that they have to put out sometimes. Now, do I agree with them all the time? Of course not. This is the thing that irritates me with people a lot of times. They figure, oh, you are a conservative person, and oh, so you must agree with everything. No. How, if you're a Democrat, I hope you don't agree with everything that they're doing, especially now. No, I don't always agree with them, but I would say I agree with them like 80 and 90% of the time, because I just feel that, like I said, the Democratic Party is the party of poverty, party of social services, government jobs, and stuff like that. So I feel like it's already a party that's like quicksand to keep you stuck. So let's listen to this guy, what he has to say. And I like the way he put this together because it gives us all the information that we need to know about the Section 8 cuts and stuff like that. A lot of people, as soon as they hear cut, they think, oh, the Trump administration is trying to make us homeless and poor. No, because it only applies to a certain group of people, and it's able-bodied people. And it's not like they're doing away with the program completely. The states are going to take control over it. And I honestly think it's better when the states take over something like this, like the Board of Ed and different things, because every state is different and every state, their needs are different. And having the government in control of what the states are doing is really unconstitutional, really, because the government is not supposed to be involved in what the states do as far as education and certain things. You got to read the Constitution. But and I feel like when the states are in control, I feel like the people have more control to go to their representatives and demand things than they do with the feds. I feel like they know what their individual city needs and stuff like that. And I feel like the money will be allocated better. Plus, I feel like it'll hold those states to task to do right by their constituents or get thrown out of office. They can't really hide anymore and, blame the feds. They're responsible for it now. So let's just listen what he's going to say. Hold on. Let me present my screen real fast. Um, I haven't been on here in a couple of days because it's been raining, and I love the rain. I really do love the rain, and the rain makes me feel, I'm not gonna say lazy, but very reflective and very relaxed. And I just did a lot of resting over these rainy days. And once it stopped raining today, I got up. I like to open the windows and hear the birds and listen to the rain and stuff like that. So once it stopped raining, I said, okay, Shelly, get up and go live. Okay, so here we go. This is Black Conservative Perspective. I don't know this guy's name, but I watch this channel a lot. And I suggest that a lot of you should, try to see a different perspective and try to, get out there and listen to other things aside from one side of an argument. I'm just a person that likes debate. I like to watch debates. I'm a person that can probably argue any side of a debate, whether I agree with it or not, really honestly. But I just feel that, I don't feel I'm fully informed until I hear both sides of the story. So let's hear what he has to say.
Well, Maria, I think it's a paradigm shift. You know as well as I do, work restores dignity. Yeah. Work brings pride. And our welfare system deviated from what it was intended to be from its origin. It was intended for the most vulnerable, to the most needy in our country. But now we've created welfare as a lifestyle in our country. And America is not a welfare state. America is a country of opportunity and a country of entrepreneurship. And so this will help us to encourage able-bodied people in America that are receiving government subsidies to work. There was a study that came out, almost 50% of households that are receiving HUD funds, almost 50%, not one person in that household is working.
And you know why they ain't working? Because, and I've seen people like this, where they feel like, oh, I don't want to work and I don't want to make too much money or I'm going to lose my benefits. And I still always think, well, you could probably make more than this doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it just makes you, have a low expectation for your life. Okay, I had a cousin that was actually on Section 8, and she was a single mother. She had kids. And what she did was, while she had the Section 8, she went to college, she got a degree, she found a job, and she was on it for a couple of years. And then she said, I'm getting off of this. And I said, girl, why would you want to get off of it? It's paying your rent. She said, because it's getting in my way of making more money. I want more shit and I can't get it. And I can't make more money if I'm on here. She said, if I make more money, I'll have a better life because I can afford more things. I can do what I want to do. And she came off of it. So I just feel like it's just a mentality of certain people that they feel like you have one group of people that get on Section 8, get on, get off, and go about their life. And then you have the other ones that stay on it for generations. I know a girl, her mother passed away and she inherited her Section 8 apartment. I couldn't even believe that. It kind of made me angry a little bit, but why did this girl is perfectly able-bodied to go and work, but she's not going to because she has this free place to live. And then she ended up being a drug addict and doing nothing with her life. I just feel like it definitely holds us back.
And that has to change. That culture, that paradigm has to change. At HUD, this is common sense compassion. We want to help people and invigorate and encourage people to work, able-bodied people to work. We're not talking about the elderly. We're not talking about those that are
And then the Democrats, they try to make it seem like they're trying to throw elderly people and disabled people out in the street. No, none of those people are going to be affected. It's just the able-bodied people that's been sitting on there forever, having more babies and stuff like that and doing nothing. If anything, it's going to encourage them to get jobs and try to, better their situation. I feel like I don't know what they're going to do with these baby mamas out here that have 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 kids. I just feel like they're stuck forever. And what do you do with those people? I feel like they should really make a situation where housing is more affordable. And I do feel like if you get rid of some of these people that are on there for decades, it would make room for the people that really want to, work and come up. I feel like it leaves you stuck, and I feel like they almost are searching for the losers because it's like they want to get you stuck in that and you never elevate. Now during COVID, I couldn't afford to pay my rent because I didn't work for like 8 months because we were all locked down and stuff like that. And so I just decided I would not pay my rent and I would keep my money for me. So that was the choice, that the option I had. I could either pay them or pay myself or whatever. So I feel like I don't know if this is a federal program or not, but I got something called a one-shot deal where the government will pay all your arrears to your rent and whatnot. And then you can only do it one time. They pay all your arrears in your rent, and they'll help you get back on track. Now, I feel like that's a good program. However, it's hard to qualify for a one-shot deal if you don't have a job. You understand? And I feel like it's very difficult for the people that have jobs and are barely making their ends meet, because they don't apply. I mean, they do not qualify for any of these programs. Even if you're getting like what do you call it? Unemployment and stuff like that, it's too much money and you're not going to qualify. So I do feel like they need to revise these programs to help working poor, because I feel like a lot of people are working, and if they could just get a hand up and maybe, have affordable housing, it could work. Now, I don't know how this is going to work now, being that the housing is really not that affordable, especially in New York City and where I was living, and now where I am now. It's just not affordable. I pay a lot for rent. But I feel like I get more for my money having got out of New York. So I still feel like I won to a degree. The schools are better. My son is thriving and we're very happy here. But I just, they have to fix the housing situation. But it's messed up. A lot of these girls, they have this free rent, and then they have some broke bum living with them, and he's not even working. I feel like if somebody's, like, when I wasn't paying my rent, I saved all my money, and I saved enough money to leave New York. Like, I saved all the money. I left New York, and this government paid back my landlord. I really wanted them to get their money, and I fought for that money because I really wanted them to get paid, because they were lovely people, and they were very understanding what I was going through over COVID and stuff like that. So, I think his wife was a nurse, and he worked for the city. So they always had work the whole time. You know what I'm saying? No, I didn't work for 8 months, and they were very patient, and I was glad I was able to pay them their money back. And that hand up really helped me a lot, and I've been good ever since, and if it wasn't for COVID, I never would have been in that problem. So I feel like these programs are good, but like some people stay on it so long, and the waiting lists are so long, and people that really need it can't get it. You'll see in here, I believe it's in this set of videos, I have that. One girl, she had a fire and she was homeless with her kids, and she couldn't even get on these programs because there's so many people on here that should have been came off.
Able-bodied, able-minded people that are receiving HUD funding should go to work to restore dignity. Maria, you get up early in the morning and you work, you serve. And so we want to give other people and encourage others the same opportunity. And so this is a great step forward, working with our colleagues at Agriculture and also Health and Human Services and Dr. Oz to be kind of a catalyst to change the trajectory of the lives of people in our country.
I think it's a great point that you make, Secretary.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about President Trump making the Black community great again, right? Because I really do believe he has done a pretty decent job at that thus far in his administration, mainly from the mass deportations. Because,
and to me, what kills me with Black people a lot of time too is that you say you don't like white people don't like you, you're being oppressed and everything like this. If that's the case, then wouldn't you want to get out from under colonizers, and wouldn't you want to separate yourself from that system? To me, it makes no sense. Like, oh, I'm being held down, so let me go to these people that don't like me for help. It's just crazy to me. It really is, and I will always say this. If y'all can raise money for Carmelo Anthony and that father that ran over that innocent police officer and Black Lives Matter millions and all kinds, why can't you raise the money to help our community, to make affordable housing for our communities, create jobs for our community? I don't understand this.
As I've stressed over and over and over and over and over again, Black people are going to benefit heavily from deporting the illegal immigrants, especially young Black men, because illegal immigrants compete with young Black men for jobs. And I love to see the mass deportations for that reason. Okay. And we have another.
And not for nothing, like the people in Chicago were beefing in other states too, that all of these illegals are coming right to the hood. They're not going to send them to some affluent white neighborhood. They're going to put them in the hood with you. Okay? So come on.
other alleged Trump proposal that I think is going to be great for the Black community, which is to cut back on the welfare and the government cheese, right? The fact is that you have a lot of able-bodied
Let me
people.
tell you something. And throughout the course of my life, I have gotten welfare, food stamps, and different things like that. When I tell you it's a waste of time, that little bit of money is nothing. I guarantee you, if you get a job, you will make more money. You just will. And to me, if you're on Section 8 for decades, why didn't you go to school? Why didn't you go to trade? Like, you have so much time to save your money. You could have made a side hustle and make money off the books and save money or whatever. I mean, it's just so many ways you could have finessed that. And a lot just don't. And they're going to be screwed when they start making these cuts because they didn't handle their business.
Who refuse to work, who don't want to work, who want to live off the government. And the Trump administration has said, nah, we're not going to allow that, right? We're going to start making people work, okay? And that has some people freaking out on the internet, right? Headline, Trump proposes cutting $33 billion in HUD funding.
Trump did say that he wants to make a free school called the University of the United States or something like that, where anybody could go to it for free, and then you would learn how to do learn whatever offerings they have to learn there, whether it be law or whatever the case may be, whatever you qualify to learn. And then those degrees will be good for government jobs. So I would hope that they can get that together, because that would be a great help for people to come up if they could get the education that they need for free, because education is just so expensive right now, and it's not even really that good. And half the people that come out of college, they can't even get a decent job, and they're struggling too. So it's just a mess. It's so many things that are a mess because we've had Democrats for decades, and I feel like it's just going to take forever to come out of it. It's going to take forever to come out of it. But I feel like the more that we can pull ourselves out of this system, the more we're going to elevate our frequency, period.
Including Section 8. The budget proposal prioritizes state-based grants over federal aid and would include a 2-year cap on rental assistance.
Listen, I think 2 years is well enough. I didn't pay my rent for 8 months, and I was able to move to another state and everything. So it's bullshit. You understand? If you're on there for 2 years and you can't get it together, I don't know what's wrong with you. And you're not disabled, you don't have anything wrong with you. Some people don't even have kids and stuff like that. I don't understand how you can't make it. And then when you're on Section 8, you get free childcare, all kinds of shit. So how the hell can't you make it? I mean, I don't get it. And then while girls are on there, they have more kids. It's like, it's just. My main thing, I'm not worried about the people that have, that have no kids or maybe even one child. But these girls that done sat up there and had 99 kids with 19 different babies' fathers not helping, I don't know what they're going to do. I feel like they either have to keep them on there forever. I don't know how you help people like that, because their situation is so fucked up. Like, I don't know what you're going to do with those.
For adults without disabilities. So let's read here. In his budget plan for fiscal year 2026, President Donald Trump has proposed cutting a total of $32.9 billion in funding to HUD. The plan includes $26.7 billion cut to federal rental aid.
And what I think they're going to do with the money, I think this is what he said he's going to do. He's going to take that money that they're saving from these able-bodied people and create housing, free or affordable housing for veterans. And I do believe veterans deserve it, because as much as I may disagree with this country and the things they do, these people do defend it. And then a lot of people, they come out of the military and they get no services, they don't have places to live. There's more homeless veterans than there should be out there, and that's where the money's going to go, is to help homeless veterans. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that is a fair exchange for able-bodied people, to me, in my opinion.
Approximately 40% of the total, and would essentially end Section 8 and other housing voucher programs, according to NPR, right? Sounds great to me, right? Sounds great to me, because you have some people who have decided that they're going to live off the government. These programs.
And I'm telling y'all, a lot of people that get these Section 8 vouchers, they pass it on to their kids, and some people have it for generations. And I don't see how they're allowed to keep these vouchers. I feel like once you die, you should be off of it. It doesn't make any sense. And the waiting list is so long, but I feel like if they gave people 2 years and move on, and I feel like at the end of the 2 years, I feel like when you recertify at the end of the 2 years, I feel like they probably would still work with you maybe if you still haven't got together, or you might be a law student or something like that and you still have more school to go and stuff. I mean, I'm sure there'll be exceptions to the rule, but if you are just sitting there doing nothing, I don't understand it. I don't understand how if I had no rent to pay for 2 years, I would have had so much money saved up, or I would have went to school or learned a trade or did something, which is what my cousin did. She went to college, she got a degree, and she came off it because she said, this is not enough money for me. I can make more money if I get this job. And she came off of it. And all the ghetto ass people that don't have no, don't strive in life, they don't understand how somebody would make that choice. But to get free rent and get $200 a month in food and a couple $100 in food stamps, like you can definitely make more money on a job.
Programs were meant to be temporary, right, to help people get back on their feet, but that's not how it's worked out in reality. You have a lot of people whose families have been on this rental assistance for generations, right? They've been living in Section 8 housing.
I know people
for
like that.
Decades, okay, because they are not really trying to help themselves get better jobs, bring in more income, because the more income that you bring in, the less rental assistance that you get. So people would just rather not work and get the government money rather than to work and to dig themselves out of poverty, right? So instead of providing aid at the federal level, the budget proposes creating a grant program to send rental assistance funds to states. It would terminate many federal regulations, incentivize states and the private sector to provide affordable housing.
And it's good too when they get rid of all the federal regulations and all shit. It just gives them more room to do what they need to do and what they want to do with the money. You understand? So I feel like it could be a good thing in the end, and the states know what their people need more than the feds.
And work in tandem with the efforts to open public lands to development. Quote, the budget empowers states by transforming the current federal dysfunctional rental assistance program into a state-based formula grant, which would allow states to design their own rental assistance programs based on their unique needs and preferences.
I think that's fine.
Budget reads. And
it's like the media make it spin it for y'all. That's why I say, whatever the mainstream media says, go look at the opposing side of the debate, because they're always trying to make people afraid. Everything they do is just to fear you. Okay. And I'm trying to get you guys to be warriors and not worriers. Okay. Because you're getting nowhere in life when you're afraid of everything. I can't stand scared ass people, especially men. It makes me pissed off. You gotta fight for yourself and your kids. You understand? You can't just have this low standard. I tell my son to dream big. I mean, even if you don't reach that dream, you're still going to be on some high elevation somewhere. And as long as I'm alive, I'm going to try to help you reach the dream. You know what I mean? I would never want my son to settle for some girl on Section 8 or, some low frequency type of living lifestyle. I can imagine. No way.
With this program, the Trump administration would impose a 2-year limit on rental assistance for adults without disabilities. The budget document states that this would direct a majority of rental assistance to elderly and disabled tenants. The proposed budget does include a $25 million in housing grants for youth aging out of foster care. Yeah,
that's another thing that they said they were going to do, which I think is good too, because they have no support. I think Melania, that was her mission, was to get housing and get help and money for the kids coming out of foster care. And I'm telling you, a lot of these kids, when they get 18, they're just thrown out in the street and they don't qualify for nothing because they don't have any kids and all this and that. And, they just get stuck. And I feel like after a lifetime of abuse and, that they deserve to have that money for help. You understand? People that are able-bodied, I don't see a problem. I just don't see what the problem is of why you have to be on it more than 2 years. If I had a year of not paying rent, I would have so much money saved. It's just crazy. And you have more than enough time to look and try to find somewhere affordable. Like me, when I was having those issues in New York, I realized I could not stay in New York no more. Just in 8 months' time, I was able to save the money, research, find somewhere else in another state, and leave the state altogether in 8 months. You can't do that in 2 years, and this is with me not even really working all the time. I was able to achieve that just with the money I saved for not paying rent for 8 months. So you mean to tell me in 2 years you can't do it? And you only have yourself or one child? Like I keep saying, I don't know what they're going to do with these baby mamas with dozens of kids. I just don't see what they're going to do with them. I feel like they're going to be stuck for life. And they're going to raise more kids that ain't going to do nothing with their life. I just don't know what you're going to do with those.
So what we have here is a more lean housing plan where you have the majority of the recipients being people who actually need it, right? Again, the elderly and the disabled. So don't fall for the propaganda that's going to be put out there where people are going to say, oh, Trump is cutting rental assistance for disabled and elderly people.
All right, this video is a little long and I want to show y'all some other stuff, but just look what he put together here. Just listen to this.
Rental assistance by up to 40%, shifting the burden to states using.
So she said burden. So we all can agree that this is a burden. Okay. Okay. I honestly feel that the states should have it. They're going to get the money, but the government's not in control of it. The states will do what they need to do for their people that they have there.
Block grants.
Yeah, that's right. And what does that mean in the real world? Cities like San Francisco estimate that over 1,900 people could lose their home. Public housing authority.
Well, they already have a bunch of people homeless on the streets in Los Angeles, so it can't get no worse. You know, the states need to figure out how to fix the problem with the money that they have. You know, they have the money. You know, these governments are so corrupt, and I feel like they need a Doge for every damn. I wish they could make an executive order that every state has to have a Doge, because I feel like every state is corrupted and the money is mismanaged. And, you know, I don't know what California is going to do, because they have a lot of problems and they're expected to have a lot of natural disasters, you know, occur there and stuff like that. And I feel like they're going to have a huge problem, you know, and it's not going to be fixed overnight, you know, but they already have a huge homeless problem there.
Cities like New York to Phoenix warn of increased evictions, overcrowding, and homelessness.
Yep. And you know, you got Section 8. You're not just slashing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You're slashing lives, futures, kids.
There will be a small percentage of people that hear this and say, oh shit, let me get my shit together. Let me go to school. Let me learn a trade. You can learn a trade in 1 year and get out and get a good job. And I feel like they say, the millionaires of the future are tradesmen. Okay. Go learn to be an electrician. Go to any of those places, and you can be in and out of that in a year or two and have your certification and get work. There are people that's going to handle their business, and then there's people that's going to sit there and do nothing. And that's almost what you get if you have 2 years of not paying no rent and you don't do anything at all to better yourself.
Access to education and safety.
Mm-hmm.
And this ain't just a theory. These are real life consequences that will happen once this program has been slashed.
So let me get this straight. The guy with gold toilets wants to end Section 8. So the Trump administration is now floating the idea of cutting Section 8. You know, the program that keeps grandma from living in.
Now, see, this is what I'm saying. They're lying to you and they're bullshitting. It's not going to cut grandma. It's not going to cut senior citizens, disabled people, veterans, and stuff like that. It's not cutting those people. And the able-bodied people that's on there will have 2 years. What the problem is? What is it?
Car or a mother with children living in a shelter. But wait, billionaires get tax breaks the size of Texas. And that's
listen. Everybody be mad at billionaires, but wish they were one. One thing I could say is that the people and most billionaires are Democrats. Let's be clear with that. Y'all be mad about billionaires, but most of the billionaires in America are Democrats, probably like 90%. They have all of America's wealth between them. Okay, so let's be clear with that. Okay. But everybody hates billionaires, but most billionaires are supplying jobs and stuff like that. And they pay a ton of money in taxes. They do pay millions of taxes. Like Elon Musk said, he pays billions of dollars in taxes. They're not the problem. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like we're putting more into the people that earn the most money here than we should. The corrupt governments is where the problem is. The stealing of the tax dollars and not allocating the money properly. And, all of these wicked things that they do to us. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. Like I said, this victim mentality that we always are stuck in like quicksand. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm being oppressed. I'm being oppressed. The white man this and the white man that. But you don't want to come out from under the oppressor. You don't want to do the work that you need to do to elevate above them. It makes no sense to me.
All cool. But helping people afford a 1-bedroom, socialism. This ain't about budget, y'all. It's about punishment. Nothing says make America great again, like making the poor homeless and building more golf courses at Mar-a-Lago. The charity.
Listen, if he wanted to build a golf course, he got plenty of money to build one. He don't need our tax dollars to do it. You understand? So this is what I'm saying. These are the dumbass people that are in a community speaking for us that I just feel are dumb ass people. Okay. None of what she said is happening. It's only able-bodied people. And you have 2 years. I'm just telling you, I didn't even really have a job. And because of COVID and I'm not working and all stuff. And the reason why I was able to save my money and leave New York was because I did not pay my rent for 8 months. So you mean to tell me if you don't have rent for 8 months, you can't figure your way out of the shit? I mean, come on. It's like we can't keep thinking in this low frequency all the time. If we really, I feel like we could have our own nation as soon as we get rid of all these low frequency people in the community.
Here on top is some of you are actually out here cheering this on. Like you ain't got a voucher in your cousin's name and a P.O. box in your aunt's.
She must be talking about her damn self because I don't know nobody that have a Section 8 voucher in my family. Thank God I don't. You know what I mean? Not to say that it might be family members that I don't know that might have them, but any of the people that I fuck with don't have them because I don't fuck with people on them low frequencies like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. If y'all can collect money for Kamala Anthony and all kinds of murderers and Black Lives Matter and all this foolishness, then why can't we collect the money that we need to create jobs for our people and create housing, affordable housing for our people? Y'all better leave me alone.
Zip code. Be serious. Should your landlord be a politician too? Or should we start actually voting like housing matters? Because rich people ain't playing. They want everything.
Everybody hates rich people, but wish they were one. Make it make sense. You want to stay in this poor mind mentality. We all should think that we're going to be rich. We all think that we could elevate over, oppression. And we all should think that we could become millionaires because you can. Especially if we will work together more and create things together and create our own shit like we did after slavery and Reconstruction and all that. We have white people hating on us and burning us out, but that is no excuse to not, still try to elevate out of the system. This is crazy to me. Because somebody do you bad, you're gonna keep allowing them to do you bad? Child,
Administration is proposing about 40% cuts to Section 8 housing vouchers. What does that mean for you? Maybe you don't get subsidized housing, so you think that does not matter, but it does. It always matters because Section 8 will also provide funds to developers to build housing specifically for subsidized tenants. That means, whether it's an apartment community, single family.
Exactly. And maybe they can use some of that money to make affordable housing. Okay? A lot of landlords say they don't want to take Section 8 because the people tear the houses up. You know what I mean? They got to go through so much shit to get the money and stuff like that. A lot of people don't like this, to rent to Section 8. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the solution is. I really think the solution is us creating our own places for our people to live, and us creating affordable houses, and us getting these grants for the affordable housing. You understand? But y'all don't see it like that. You want to take the minimal crumb that you can get.
You know, duplex, fourplex, like those are funds. They said, oh, we're just going to send it back to the states, which
That's crazy.
essentially means we're going to leave you guys high and dry. And if you have a state that is fiscally responsible, great, good for you. I do not.
We wouldn't be high and dry if we take care of each other.
I live in Mississippi, and our state is infamous for misallocating funds, stealing funds. You know, we let people literally run amok. Oh, and we just passed legislation this past legislative session to eliminate the income tax. We are already subsidized at one of the highest rates by the federal government. They are eliminating.
So did I understand that she said they're eliminating income tax and she's mad at that?
FEMA. Like y'all got to look at the budget proposals, because some people are saying, oh, this will be good because if we get all those, you know, Section 8 tenants out, then the housing market, the prices will change. Y'all, there's so much nuance in this. What is going to...
There's some parts of America that don't want no Section 8 people at all. And at first they didn't have a problem, but when they come, sometimes they come with their badass kids, and they many baby fathers, and they have these men coming in and taking over their houses and making them drug houses. They run down the community. It is what it is. Now, like I keep saying, can we get rid of the worst people of the community? And if we can't wake them up, like Malcolm said, you can't wake up everybody. You're going to have to just leave them behind. You understand? But the righteous people that want to do the right thing, can we build together with those people? I mean, I don't understand this. I feel like we're going to be like this for another 150 years. You know what I'm saying? If we don't get it together.
To happen is those people are going to have to leave. And where will they go? There are no programs. Federal funding has been cut from almost every federal program or grant or subsidy that was provided to.
So if you know this, right? If she knows this, then you better get it together, because you know you cannot rely on these people. You can only rely on you. You can only blame you. You understand? There are so many people that come from broken families that's drug addicts, and they was abused and in foster care and all kinds of shit, and come out of that on top. It's the mentality that you have. Some people don't accept that lifestyle for themselves. They really do the work. You have those people that want to get the handout, that are going to sit there on Section 8 for 10 years and never do anything to pull themselves up. And then you have the people that don't even qualify for those programs and pull themselves up. I never qualified for any of that shit. I got a one-shot deal, and I had to prove that I had a job that could cover the money that they were giving me. And just by the grace of God, I had got 2 days of work, and the lady was working with me, and she helped me get it through. You understand? You know, I feel like they should help the working poor more, because they're going to really be the ones to get out of the situation. You understand? These generational people that are on welfare and stuff like that, I don't know how you correct this. I don't know how you correct it for them.
Assist people with things like this.
To you people up here that's not on Section 8, not on public housing assistance, congratulations, okay? You got it together. You know what I'm saying? You did the dang on thing. You went to school. You got educated. I'm one person that do have education, okay? Did I graduate high school? I had complications in school? Yes. The answer is yes. Do I have some type of college education level? Yes, I do. Okay, I want to fast forward to this. Does not mean that I ended up making that type of money. You know what I'm saying?
Because that is true. A lot of people go to college, they owe all of that debt, and they come out and they can't make a living. I've heard some of my cousins tell me stories like that. And, you know, it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? That's why I'm telling you, go learn a trade. That's what I did. Decided at the last minute, I ain't going to college because I don't feel that's going to make me enough money. I wanted to be a photographer, and I didn't feel that was going to make me the money I wanted to make. So I became a hairstylist. I went to cosmetology school, and, you know, And then I end up getting certified in a lot of different things in cosmetology and beautification. Okay. So I'm just telling y'all, you can get a trade real quick and earn money right away. And the good thing about a trade is that you can work off the books. If you're on one of these programs and you have a trade, you could work off the books and save so much money. You understand? You got to know how to hustle. You understand? You're never going to come out of this system that you say is oppressing you if you keep moving like that.
And with everything going the way that it's going, and I'm speaking for the Section 8 issue that's going on, where he's talking about no more Section 8, no more food stamps and all this other stuff. Okay. I want to speak on that I do not get Section 8. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on Section 8. You know what I'm saying? I am on public housing assistance, and however, let me clear that up. It took a while before I even applied for public housing assistance because I'm in between jobs like crazy.
This is all of the excuses that I don't want to hear. And let's just skip over her because she goes on and fucking on about all of these excuses.
Really?
Yeah. So we're going to address that 5 kids comment that she made because that's a part of the problem, right? But first, I just want to give credit where credit is due. There are a lot of Black people who have taken to the internet to express how they support President Trump and what he's doing because they already know, right? Black people know more than anybody else how toxic this program actually.
Yes, we do. Look at these people now. These are people that have a different opinion.
Makes sense to me. To all the people that's on Section 8, he is giving y'all 2 years to get on your feet. Trump said stop being dependent and become independent. I agree.
They act like they just gonna come tomorrow and say everybody that's on Section 8, you don't get it no more. You have 2 years. 2 years. You could go to college in 2 years. I recommend that you go learn a trade because that only takes a year or a little bit more. You can do an apprenticeship or something like that during that time and make money off the books and stuff and be still getting that Section 8 until it runs out. You understand? And save your money. That's the plan I will offer y'all.
I'm not no hating ass bitch. I'm not knocking nobody's situation. But if you really think about it, Section 8 is only to assist you to get on your feet. Section 8 is a stepping stone.
And notice that all of assistance is called public assistance. It's assistance, not live forever rent free, not stay on this until you die and transfer it to your kids for generations assistance.
To get you on your feet. Section 8 is not something you should depend on for the rest of your life. Government assistance is not something you should depend on for the rest of your life. Keyword, assistance, to assist you. Y'all done got too comfortable.
Very.
Too comfortable. There's people that's been on Section 8 for like 10 plus years. That's a long time. Within that amount of time, you should have a lot of money saved up in your bank account. In your savings account. Y'all too busy buying the newest shoes, buying the hottest cars,
wigs,
trying to keep up with the trend, buying designer purses, buying designer clothes, but you're in public housing. If you can buy designers, you can pay your house rent without assistance. Let that sink in. If you can buy designers, you can pay your house rent without assistance. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of single mothers out here also that need those type of assistance. But if you just comfortably living off Section 8 and don't care, that's crazy to me. That's the reason why nobody else can get in, because y'all be on Section 8 for years. Y'all not thinking outside the box. Y'all being so dependent. Stop being so dependent and let's become independent.
Trump is not wrong for limited amount of years that you could be on Section 8. Let's be real. Some of these people been on Section 8 since I was a kid and I'm 19 years old. You've been on Section 8 for 19 motherfucking years. No, it's time for your lazy ass to get off of Section 8 and get the fucking work. No shame. Like, people use Section 8 as just a clutch and just spend their money on whatever they want, get a little cheap rent, and then they stay on it. And then the younger girls, we having kids and they can't really get no jobs, especially in a time like right now. It's like, girl, that's not fair. Fuck no. I don't feel bad for none of them motherfuckers. Unless they disabled, the only people I feel bad for is disabled or very elderly people that cannot work. But if you are in your 30s, 40s, and low-key your late 20s too, and you can work, like I'm talking about, you can get you a career, I don't feel bad for you getting kicked off Section 8 because you've been on there for 10, 20 years. No shade. in Georgia, to qualify for Section 8, I think it's $40,000. You can only make $40,000 a year for a 4-person household. So if a household with a mom
and see, that's what my cousin was saying. The money, she has to have such a low income to qualify for it that she felt that she could do better on her own, and she did. And she was like, I need to have money. I can't just be having this little bit of money. Like, I think you can only have like $5,000 in the bank or something like that, if that. And she just didn't want that lifestyle. You know, she wanted to be able to have money and make money and buy what she want to buy and have cars and stuff like that. And she came off of it. Like, I think she was only on it for a few years or whatever, and she came off of it.
Daddy and 2 kids, they make $40K a year, and they're on Section 8 paying $500 in rent. Mind you, $40,000 a year is around what, $3,000 some dollars a month. If you can't save at least $1,000 while you on Section 8, your ass don't deserve to be on there. Like, if you on there for 2 years, you can't save at least $10, $20, $30, $40,000 to, you know what I'm saying, restart your life and get your life back on track. Baby, you do not deserve to be on there. Because some of y'all get y'all cheap rent and then y'all gonna splurge y'all money on a whole bunch of other shit. And then the young mamas try to get on Section 8 and they can't because all these old motherfuckers making money and not trying to get off of it. No shade. I don't feel bad.
And let's become independent.
Section 8, baby, let's talk about it. Section 8 is a blessing. It was created to help people who are struggling, not as a trap, but as a trampoline. It's supposed to give folks room to breathe while they rebuild. Mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually. Let's be real, not everybody uses this like that. Instead of elevating, some people are doing everything that they can to stay stuck. And it's not because they can't grow. It's because they've grown comfortable in struggle. The first thing is,
how about that? They grew comfortable and struggle. It's like, you know, let me stay here making $200 a month in free rent and never want more out of life than this Section 8 apartment, or, you know, it just, I don't know. I don't know what these people are going to do.
I make too much money, they'll raise my rent. So instead of leveling up their income, people start turning down hours, quitting jobs, choosing under the table work. They can keep their rent low. They fear abundance because they believe to condition that more success equals less support. What they don't realize is they're capping their own potential just to stay small. A lot of people feel like, why leave if I'm comfortable? Some folks get used to paying $0 to $20 of rent, so they just stop striving. They stop planning to own a home, improving their credit, or breaking generational curses. It just...
Now, she said a whole lot there, the generational curses, because a lot of reason why we are in the position we are is because we won't break these curses. We are choosing to stay stuck. We have all the weapons of warfare, but we don't utilize them.
Sit. Meanwhile, people with the real needs, single mom with disabled kids, the elderly, folks on disability, are sitting on the waiting list for years.
Yeah, so I cannot stress to you guys enough about how this is like a Black conservative's dream, to be honest with you. Okay, the mass deportations, cutting out the Section 8, okay, some of these welfare benefits, making people get off the government and go to work, right?
So yeah, so you guys can watch that. The link is in the description if you want to watch that in its entirety. I just wanted to show you this other video real quick. But I mean, I feel like the second group of people are right. It's like, if we want to elevate as a community, we have to stop being victims. We have to start pulling ourselves up. And, you know, if we can't motivate certain parts of our community, we got to leave them behind. You know, I feel like, you know, like they say, God helps those that help themselves. You know, if they don't want any help, leave them. That's how I feel. Because it's ridiculous at this point. Very ridiculous. It's too much. It's too much. And it's like, you know, we've been out of slavery for 150 years now. Are we going to stay like this for another 150 years? Or are we going to start getting together like Africa and start uniting and start doing what we have to do and handling business?
Me and my family are getting evicted. Are you happy? Are you happy for reporting me to DHS? Are you happy for getting my Section 8 taken away? Me and my family are getting evicted. Are you happy?
So what happened? She must have been doing something crooked and her neighbors told on her if she got taken off of it.
Are you happy for reporting me to DHS? Are you happy for getting my Section 8 taken away? Are you happy that my food stamps are cut off? That my cash benefits are cut off?
She's speaking to dead air because most Americans don't care. They don't care. Good for you that you were getting this public assistance for this time, because I never was able to get none. And I know plenty of people that needed it and couldn't qualify for it because they made $2 over the amount. It could be 50 cents over and they won't give it to you. So come on, miss.
That I probably won't be getting any of our disability checks next month? Are you happy? Are you happy that me and my family are going to be homeless on the street?
It's everybody's fault but her fault. You understand? Everybody's to blame. She's not one time saying that what she's done to maybe be in this situation.
Next month. I get a note posted to my door this morning. 30-day eviction. 30 days. With 2 adults and 6 children. Because Section 8 has cut me off. They're no longer paying my rent. And they haven't been paying. So I have.
So this, now we get into the truth of the story. Okay. She's making it seem like Section 8 cut her off and she has 30 days to leave. By the time nobody can just throw you out. This has to all go to court and everything. So like she said, Section 8 was not paying her rent. Okay. She could have kept her apartment if she would have paid her rent. But when Section 8 stopped paying her rent, she didn't pay her rent. Landlords probably took her to court and they won, and now she has 30 days to get out. You understand? She literally just said that they haven't been paying the rent. So she's not telling you what she has done to make it where she and her kids are in this predicament.
30 days to come up with over $4,000. You government.
The current administration is doing things that I never thought.
Now, this is the guy I like to watch a lot. A lot of people say he's misogynistic, and I feel like he is a little bit. It's called mediocre tutorials and reviews. Okay, so he's a little bit misogynist. To me, he's like a young Kevin Samuels in a way. You understand? But a lot of the times, just like Kevin Samuels, he is right. And I just like his position a lot of the times, because I feel like if women would listen to what men say more, they probably wouldn't be as ignorant, because I feel like women are always projecting how we think on men, and men just don't think the same.
I would see within my lifetime. Nevertheless, though, here we are, and it has many people on the internet going absolutely crazy. And we're going to go over some of those reactions here in a quick second, but let's review where we are. So the White House right now is proposing the elimination of Section 8 housing vouchers.
So he's going to explain about the vouchers. You guys can watch this in your own time because it's starting to get long. But he's going to compile a bunch of people.
Bill that will cut Section 8 funding. You don't have to be someone that utilizes Section 8 to see the damage that this man is trying to cause. Why is it when money needs to be cut, they want to try to take from low-income families? But
okay, now we just watched those cut USAID. We watched them cut all kinds of programs. Every government program that exists, they cut from it. So it's not just Black people. Black people think that they're always this victim of it for every little thing. But everywhere got cuts. Federal employees got cut. They cut across the board. You understand? And I feel like they're still finding shit every day of ways to cut money. And I don't care what nobody say. An able-bodied young person don't need to be on Section 8 more than 2 years. Let that money free up for somebody new.
Not make their rich friends pay their taxes. If the people who were well off would just pay their taxes, no money would need to be cut. And
so she's saying, so they're thinking that we don't pay enough taxes, okay? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm rich, but I am in a certain bracket, and I feel like I get hit in the head hard with taxes. And people ask me, "Oh, you're a single mother, you save money in taxes?" Hell fucking no. Not at all. You understand? You could also go get a job, sis, and take care of your kids and do what you have to do, like millions of other single parents out here. I get tired of hearing them excuses. Some people really have hardships. You understand? But like when the hardship's over, move on and let somebody else come and get that money to help build themselves up. I don't understand this mentality. It's like we're always going to be on the bottom as long as we think we deserve to be on the bottom. I don't think I deserve to be on the bottom. I don't think I deserve to suffer. I ain't living in no public housing, and I'm not, one reason why I don't like to apply for those programs is because they are in your business too much. You can't have any money saved. They want to know all your business and all your bank records and all that. I don't want them all in my business like that.
People seem to think that, ghetto people are just the ones with Section 8. No, it is made for low-income families, people with disabilities, veterans, people that just need help paying their rent. It just seemed like to me that they like to attack groups that are the most vulnerable instead of getting more money from the groups that are more stable. That's just crazy to me. And at some point, you got to think these people are really evil. You're cutting funding from people who already can't afford their housing. How evil do you sound? Section 8 has paved the way for many people to be able to have roof and housing over their heads. So to make that a primary focus for cutting, it's just weird to me.
It's not a primary focus for cutting, sis. Like I said, they've been making cuts across the board. Across the board. Nobody's kicking out grandma. Nobody's kicking out the disabled and stuff like that. And he's even thinking about veterans, and if they want to allocate money to children out of foster care that are aged out of foster care and stuff like that. It only affects able-bodied adults. That's who it affects. Stop lying.
Diabolical, if you will.
There are many Americans that are hustlers that will stop at nothing to promote generational wealth within their families. But there's others that are okay with generational poorness. They'll do the bare minimum, never try to hustle to get up out of their situation, needing help for generations to come.
Yep.
Section 8 was never supposed to be into infinity. What I find so ironic about the situation is that many of these single mothers who chose the government in the past, as opposed to choosing a man in the house.
Now, he can't stand single mothers. If you watch his show, he go hard on single mothers. It's like they hate single mothers.
Is now finding out that the government never gave a shit and is now taking back their free rides.
Not that I don't think taxes should go to families that need it. I think we need reform of the programs in which tax dollars are allocated to help families. For instance, Section 8. Section 8 is a great leg up for some families, right? Section 8 should not be able to be passed down to your kids.
Thank
and
you.
Pass it down to their kids.
For sure.
That promotes you staying exactly where you are.
I'm
because
telling you, I had a friend, her mother passed away. Her mother had a 3-bedroom apartment in the Bronx, and her Section 8 voucher was passed on to her grown daughter. What kind of shit is that?
The deterrent is if you make too much, you're going to have to pay this high ass rent that everybody else is paying.
Yeah.
So you need to stay below this level. You need to stay in poverty. You need to not advance so that you can live easy.
Well, I don't think people choose to be impoverished, though.
Not everybody chooses it, but you and I both know there are a great deal of folks
absolutely.
and I think that reform is needed because there are too many families who need these resources but can't get them because they make too much or because certain demographics in the household don't allow it, whatever. But you have people who are openly taking advantage of said system. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. There may be, I can't even say maybe, there are people that abuse that system. But when we look at like percentages, I don't think that's a big enough percentage of us for say, okay, we about to stop these people.
1000% a big enough percentage. Again, if Section 8 can be passed down generationally, then that's an issue. That's where I would start.
Sisters, because I'm in between jobs like crazy. I've been paying market rent all my life before anybody say, yeah,
We
she
saw this
just
lady
saying that
speak
because
before. She just vexed me so bad. We saw her speaking to other. If you want to watch this, you can watch it on your own time. It'll be in the description on my YouTube channel.
I have a Section 8 is it does go with your income. So if your income is up here, you pay some rent, you just don't pay the market rent. If your income is down here, then you pay the smaller amount of rent.
What essentially she's saying is that the more money that you make, the less that they will help you out, thereby it being designed to keep you there. Because why would you want to work more if they're going to give you less money? I mean, these people are making a rational decision, leveraging the current structure. That's why they're on forever Section 8, designed to keep you in a cycle. And a lot of times these families, they just keep on adding on more kids, more bills, more liabilities.
But still, it's the income that matters. So if you
Side note, I don't understand why it's a thing now that people come on and make TikToks with bonnets on. I don't know. I don't get that. I don't like it.
qualify for the lowest income, that means your income is that low that you don't have to pay regular rent. You'll qualify as low income. So what that means is, obviously, if your rent is that low that you don't have to pay rent, that means you don't have enough money to pay your bills either.
Honestly, what I feel like when people get on Section 8 and they give them 2 years, they should just let them be rent free or the low cost rent for the 2 years, and it's over. You understand? If you don't save your money in the 2 years and you don't get your shit together in 2 years, that's on you. But I do understand where it's difficult, because if you're trying to save your money to do better and they're raising the rent really high, I don't understand how, people, I can understand why some people would choose to stay stuck like that. But I do feel like they should let them just get the chance to save the money, and not have to pay the rent. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna pay the rent regardless. You know what I mean, for these people. So you might as well just let them get the free rent for 2 years, and then it's over. You're out. Now, if you don't go to school and you don't go to trade and you don't save your money, then you're going to just be in a worse situation. You had your chance. That's how life is. Nobody's going to carry you forever.
Your other bills that you might have, that's the hard part about being low income. You don't have enough income to actually live. But if you do, your income is up here and you're paying rent, your income is still not above the low income mark, which disqualifies you from being low income or Section 8. So it's up here, but it's not above. And when it's up here, that means, okay, you have enough now that you can pay your rent. You might not be able to pay your other bills, but you at least can pay rent. That's what that is. And that's where a lot of people are.
There are people that absolutely need it, but there are people that absolutely abuse the system. And I mean, to be honest, if my rent was $13 a month, would I be rushing to go to work either? No, that's why the cycle is vicious.
Yeah, I personally don't agree with a lot of things Trump is saying, but this one specific thing.
We heard her speak also on the other one. You guys can look at these in the description. I'm trying to get through this because my son wanted me to take him somewhere. We saw her speaking the other one too. Let's see what this lady's gonna say. Did we hear her?
Here, I finally get to live a good life, rent free. I get to keep my money in my pocket because I get my rent paid. Little did I know that it would ruin my life. I got Section 8 after I had my second child. I applied to all
I hate when people talk
lists,
slow like
and
this.
I finally got it.
Tell us the
And I got to choose the neighborhood I wanted to live in. I got to pick the house that I wanted to live in as long as it fit the budget. I got to choose how many bedrooms that I got. It was so wonderful. At that time, I didn't know that my then boyfriend, who already had a felony, would not be able to live with me anymore. So now, us living together had to be a secret. When it was time for inspection, I was hiding his shoes and hiding his clothes and hiding his belongings so that they wouldn't know that there was a man.
If you got a man living with you and you can't afford your rent, you should let him go. I'm sorry. What is he doing there?
Notice what she's saying. Section 8's a goal because she's able to achieve what she wants, be a help of the government. Oh, but wait, she needs to be a single mother with no help from any man in order to live this lifestyle.
Which caused tension. It caused, some resentment, and I'll talk about that later. But at that time, I didn't know how it was causing a separation between us.
But I'm saying these programs, that's what they do to families. You understand? You got two grown people. Why can't you do what you got to do? you, for your family. You're gonna let the government come in and split you up, and then he has a felony. That's a whole nother thing. So he probably can't even get work and stuff like that. And she's just probably supporting him and everything. So it's just like a lot of the times people are not telling you the dumb shit they be doing, why they're in a predicament that they're in. I'm gonna skip her a little bit more because she's talking very slow and she goes on and on. But this is a Section 8 apartment, and I couldn't believe this. This is beautiful.
It's a Section 8 eligible apartment with me. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and y'all, when I say nice, I thought that was the washer and dryer, but he said, no, mommy, it's a co-closet. Okay, look at the vinyl floors. Look at the bathroom. It's clean as hell, okay? Look at that trim. Oh, my goodness. But, oh, my gosh, y'all, I thought this was the master bedroom. Master bedroom. He said, no, the master bedroom
That's
has
nice.
a bathroom
my goodness,
connected.
friend.
Here go the washer and dryer looking bomb as hell, y'all. The vinyl floors. Y'all remember back in the day projects where it had the itchy carpet?
Gave me
You used to fall
reward.
asleep and be itching. You ain't got to deal with that here. This living room is huge. Huge. Look at all that natural sunlight. Yes, content creator life come through.
We can make us a
Now I'm
TikTok.
going over to the master bedroom. Okay, it's cute. I love that industrial. Here go my walk-in closet, y'all. Then behind here is the built-in Wi-Fi where you just easily activate when you move in. But baby, this the start of the show. This is the start of the show.
Let me see, friend.
His and her, well, really me and me, sing because I'm
You
single.
finally left your baby daddy, huh?
No man will be up in here. I could turn off one light. Oh, look at the space between the toilet and the sink.
Well, that's a lot of space, friend.
Oh my gosh, look at these functional cabinets, baby. I'm 5'7.5". I put my leg up and I still had more room. Don't look at my booty.
It looked like a
The
BBL.
pantry is what I call this. I have this in my current place. Y'all, follow me for more. We finna go outside to the patio. I love it. I can't wait to sit up on here and act like Jody Mama.
I know that's right, friend.
With its wine, chair, garden, all of that.
Mhm,
But
Taylor Polk.
look at all of this space. Big old donkey, stupid, big refrigerator, hella pantry space. Oh my gosh. Well, this is one of my favorite parts, y'all. I have a very unpopular rant session. Here we go. So as y'all know, we lost everything in the home fire, so we really don't have nowhere to
This
go.
is
We're still
messed
living
up
in
for this
hotel
girl.
and it's stressful as fuck. Try to apply for government housing, but everybody's still there. Section 8 and public housing is supposed to be a transitional thing.
And it is supposed to be a transitional thing. And it's messed up because the people that really need it, like people like this girl was in a fire, people that are homeless, they have to be in shelters, and you have to go in a shelter in order to get Section 8 sometimes. And then a lot of times, once they get the vouchers, they can't find anywhere. I've heard people say they get vouchers and they can't even find nobody to take the voucher in certain cities, and it runs out and stuff like that. So, it's just a messed up situation. It really needs to be revised.
You're supposed to get in, get your shit together, and get the fuck off so the people who need it can get their shit together and get the fuck off. Some of y'all just too comfortable with y'all $16 rent and y'all fucking living it up, driving BMWs and shit, and motherfuckers like me need a place to stay. I'm sorry, I ain't even that mad for real. I'm just a little frustrated because this shit been going on for months and I need a place to stay. My husband lost his job because the lady at his job wanted him and he wasn't giving in, and so she was like, oh well, I will make your life hard then, and started writing him up for all kind of stupid ass shit. Like, come on, bro, I am losing it. I just
And to me, this is messed up because she does have a husband, and whatever hardship they're going through it as a family. You understand? So it would be nice if they could get a place to live and get back on their feet. And I do feel like this is a family, they got burned out. This is a family I feel that it probably would get their shit together and get back on track if they had that 2 years, but you have somebody that's been on there for 10 doing nothing.
Oh, like move out. Like, if y'all got a savings account over $5,000, y'all can pay your own rent. Move out so I can move in, damn it.
All right, guys, tell me what you think down in the comment box down below. What is it that you think about this situation? Do you think that for some of these people that have been abusing the housing situation, that winter is coming for them? Y'all already know my thoughts about it. To think that the subsets of my tax dollars that go to people that don't really even need it, that have not been incentivized for more than 2 years to do something else with their time in order to earn more income. But I do think for some people, non-able-bodied people, handicapped, very new low-income families, I can still see this.
I don't think anybody wants to see no grandmas and handicapped and disabled veterans and all. That's not who we're talking about here. Just able-bodied adults. Able-bodied adults that can totally get a job. You understand? And when you're on these programs, they give you free They give you free childcare. I was never able to get free childcare, but I was able to get low cost childcare at one time when Charlotte was a baby. And the industry was on strike again, and I wasn't earning any money, and I was trying to go back to work, and I needed childcare, and I was able to get like a low cost childcare situation. But I still think it was pricey still to me. You know what I mean? For the money that I was earning at the time, and I feel like childcare is always the issue, but they have solutions for childcare that you can get all kinds of low cost and free childcare when you're working single parent and stuff like that. So there's all kind of resources than to just stay home doing nothing. So it's just something, to think about. You guys can look at the link in the description. And I do think you'll be very entertained by some of his other videos because they're a trip, especially guys, because they're a trip over there. But, I'm going to get off of here because this, as always, was long. I try to keep the videos short, but they always end up to be like an hour or so. And then I make them into shorter reels. And you can see them on TikTok, Instagram, and on my YouTube channel in the short section. You can see these videos in the live section. Sometimes I post videos to my YouTube channel too, but mostly the shorts and the lives you'll see up there. I appreciate you guys watching, and, I would like to see us elevate our frequency, And, I don't know what we can do to help our people, out of this low frequency, because that's all it is just being on a low frequency and not really believing that you deserve to be on a higher one or that you can reach a higher one. You can easily reach a higher frequency. It's just how you think about things and what you're projecting into the universe. And we have to really work on this because, I feel like the community is worse than it was after slavery, honestly. There's people that make money, but I feel like the mentality is just terrible. And I feel like we're going on a downward spiral at this time. And I feel like it's something that could be easily corrected by just elevating your frequency and changing your mind frame and the way you think about yourself and the way you think about things. Because we are in one of the countries that has the most opportunity in the world, and everybody wants to come here because of that. And you're here and you're having a problem. There's people that come here with nothing, with the clothes on their back, and pass you. So you have to really question how you feel about yourself. I would not want that life for my kids, and I would do everything to pull myself out. I had a single mother, and we always had nice places to live, and my mother always worked. So that's just what I saw. She had 2 kids. She always worked. We always had our own rooms and stuff like that, and she didn't promote that to us. So, I don't know. I just hate to see generation after generation just go down. It's really sad. And it's not going to go away. If you get on these social programs, social service programs, save your money. And like I'm telling y'all, college is not for everybody. And a lot of people go to college and come out and can't really make a living. I remember one time I had a car accident, and the lawyer that had my case, he couldn't believe how much I made as a hairdresser. He said, "Oh my God, I chose the wrong profession because I made more than him." So, don't always think that, working with your hands is something that will always get you money. You could get that trade and go work off the books. You know what I mean? Learn how to be an electrician, learn how to be a carpenter, learn how to do, home improvements or, whatever, do the research and whatever type of thing that you could find that you can do with your hands. Some people are really good. And I used to like painting. I enjoyed that. And it was a good workout on your arms and stuff like that. So, there's all kinds of ways that you can do like side hustles, and just start thinking about that. And like, when you get on these programs, don't anticipate being on it more than 2 years, because I guarantee you, if you learn a trade, and I always tell people to think outside of a job, because a job is already setting you up to work for somebody else. If you learn a trade or try to do some type of entrepreneurship, then you're the boss, or you're more in control of your money. Being that I was a cosmetologist, I've been a freelance worker my whole life. So I never really had a job, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? I'll go from one job to the next, one job to the next. and you can say your price. And you know, most trades you can do it under the table. So a lot of people that are on these government programs that can't show their income, you can make a ton of money off the books. I had a friend, he could build a house from the ground up. He made so much money off the books and was still able to get, you know, his disability and whatever else he was getting. You understand? So I just feel it's a better plan, and it sets you up for entrepreneurship when you take a trade. And there's a lot of fun things to do. My son wants to go to college for football, but I said, you will learn a trade. I said, what do you think you want to learn? It only takes like a year to do it. You know what I mean? If he goes for football and he makes it to the NFL and becomes a millionaire, great. But if you don't, when college is over, go learn the trade. It takes a year and you'll have it forever. You know what I mean? So, you know, these are the things that you have to teach your kids. My son said he probably wouldn't mind learning to be a carpenter. He likes to build things. You know, maybe your kids, you know, you could, if you can get them into STEM programs. My son was in a STEM program and he really did like building the robots, but he didn't like programming them and coding and all that stuff. So, you know, he's a builder. He likes to work with his hands and create things and put things together. You know, pay attention to your kids. I feel like every kid should learn a trade. Before the Board of Ed, every kid did learn a trade. We took cooking classes. We had shop classes, all kinds of shit. I still know how. I remember one time we were putting a table together and my boyfriend put the shit together all rickety. I took that whole shit apart and put that together, put the glue, the clamps and everything and he just couldn't believe it because I had that shop class when I was in middle school. You know, so I even learned how to make sushi in school. We learned so many things, and it's like these schools suck. And I feel like now that the Board of Ed will be taken over by the states, these are things parents can demand for their kids. You know, we have to start thinking bigger and better for our kids. You already fucked up your life. All right. If you're on these programs, you're not working. Try to recalibrate yourself, elevate your frequency, try to at least push your kids in the right direction. Do the research and try to figure out, because I'm telling you, college is not always the way to go, especially today, because there's no jobs. AI is taking a lot of these jobs. I have friends that are in positions where they're partners of law firms, accounting firms, and different things like that. And they tell me the kids are not smart. I hear this across the board. So, you know, in a lot of these jobs, these office jobs, they don't exist anymore. They have AI to do everything. They don't need hardly anybody in these jobs anymore, but they're always going to need people to build. They're always going to need people to do wiring and repair things and air conditioning repair and different things and fixing cars and doing, you see what I'm saying? So really think about these trades, because that could be a way to pull you out in them 2 years, because it's going to run out in 2 years. And I guarantee you take a trade, you can elevate yourself real quick. I don't know what the cosmetology industry is doing. When I got in it, it was very lucrative and I ended up getting a film career, but I just don't think that it is what it once was, because there's so many people working unlicensed and stuff like that today. But like, just look into it though. You know what I mean? And just see what trades are out there, because there's thousands of them, you know, and you don't know where it could bring you. And I definitely will tell you to bring you closer to entrepreneurship. I know a lot of friends that drive the trucks and stuff like that. Some of my friends were able to buy their own trucks and have trucking companies now and stuff like that. Anytime you learn a trade, I just feel like you're just one step away from owning your own business every time. You know, for me, my hands are my business. I sell myself and my abilities. That's how I've earned a living since I was 18 years old. You know, I don't really have a job, quote unquote. And I was glad that I chose this because I have freedom. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Think about what I said. Look at trades. I think I'm going to do a video on trades, because I feel like, especially a lot of young people, they don't know about this. You know, I'm old. I remember when the Board of Ed didn't exist. And we learned a lot of trades. We learned sewing, all kinds of things. You understand? And I feel like now that they're going to put factories back in this country, I do feel that there will be work for people that can do trades, the people that can sew, and people that can do, you understand? So you guys got to start looking at this and figure out, you know, you got to get in where you fit in, you know, do the research. You can go on whitehouse.gov and see all of the companies that are coming here. It's just a list of all the corporations that are going to be building factories and building companies here. So you see the jobs that are coming, and you're going to see where the demand is going to be at, and you pick something that fits in with that. And I might even do the same damn thing too, because I feel like the film industry is drying up. I digress. You know, Trump is trying to work that out too for us. So, you know, I'm hoping the best for the film industry, whatever. You know, if I could retire tomorrow, I would, but I haven't reached that point yet. But I'm hoping soon. You really, you know what I mean? So I'm going to leave y'all. And I am going to come back with a video on trades because I feel it's important. And just one other video too that's out there that I have for you guys for single mothers. I have a video in my live section on YouTube that talks about building a support team for single mothers. Listen to that because I have a lot of things that can help you, you know, build support team for your kids if you don't have anybody, you're a single parent, their father's not there, you don't have your family. Because I was in New York and I didn't really have any family here or anything. It was just me and my son. So I show you how to do that. So, and I'm going to be back with more help for y'all. But right now I got to go. My son's here. So I thank you for watching. I am Shelly B. I love you. I love you all for sitting with me. This means I love you in sign language. And I do if you sat through this with me. Even if you don't sit through this with me, I still love you. Just like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like the videos, watch the videos, share the videos. Every time I come on here, I try to have, you know, something to elevate your frequency. Any video of mine that you watch, you're going to come out of it elevated because I'm going to give you something to elevate your frequency. I'm going to motivate you. I'm going to try to tell you things to make you believe in yourself and make you feel stronger and make you know that, you know, dream big and that you can reach it. It's just how you think. So I'm going to go now. I am Shelly B. Thank you for watching. I love y'all and I'll see you on the next one.